This is Pepsi 71 Ocean from the Cummins forum, giving you a basic injector install. But first things first, I like to have a lot of lighting on stuff, as you can see here and up here, so at least you can see everything. You don't have to worry about it. Number two, it's always best to have, you know, open spaces to put stuff, an open floor so you don't trip over crap. But first things first is you should disconnect the batteries. If not, then you can always disconnect the light here by pulling this red tab up like my thumb and then pushing in on the black tab up top and then wiggle it and it should come right out. This way you don't drain your batteries. So once we get that out of the way, now the first thing I like to do, if you got an older truck that's seen a lot of service, is you can see here, alright, see how the cover here is starting to turn green here? If you try and pull the valve cover, you'll knock that crap into the oil compartment. So what I like to do is put a trash bag in over the top here, down the back of the motor, and secure it up top with the windshield wipers. This way the bag acts like a barrier between the two. You don't get engine oil all over the place. So that'll be the first thing. And then it's as simple as disconnecting these wires here and then pulling the valve cover bolts, which I'll show you in a minute. Alright, on here you'll see this little thing here. Push in on that tab towards the wires, hold it in, and this will come apart. Now this, you rotate this plug up like that and it'll come off. Who the heck is texting me? Let's see if we can get this. Usually you can get it out with one shot. Let me zoom out the camera a little bit. I have to use two hands. Yeah. Watch me ditch this camera on the floor. Alright, here, I take this glove off. They push in, comes right out. This is the same way. Push in on this little tab on the end, and it should come right out. Pull open. Now, why separate these plugs? Simple. As you can see, I already put my trash bag in, but you got to get these wires up out of the way. Now you can also remove this plate here, the one these wires are sitting on. I do. If you do, pull your engine cover top off back, loosen your connectors here and here, or just go at them right there. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this plate, run these wires up here, and run my trash bag back across the top. Alright guys, as you can see, I got my trash bag here sitting up on the dash. And now we're going to get to where we remove the valve cover. Alright, now, as you can see, you can still get access to all the lines and the last valve cover bolt. But at least now when you hit the top of the vehicle, it's not going to drop crap all over the place. Now the next thing you do is take a 15mm socket and you remove the valve cover bolts. Take this one out, this one out, this one out, leave this one and the last one in. Why? Because this will allow you to tilt the valve cover off, up and over the hose and take it off. Don't worry about the last two. You'll see why you leave them in. Alright, I removed the first 4 bolts. Now, to get the valve cover off, a lot of people say it's really tricky because that bolt's in the way, blah blah blah, but I lift the bolt up about 1 inch or so, and then I just simply pick up the valve cover, rotate it like this. Now take the back end and shove it that way, so it's like that, and then it should just pull right out. Now I can't seem to do this well with the camera, so see if we can get the camera not to fall. And shit, glove back on. I'd probably be pissed if I get oil on his camera. Off, you little. Stupid bolt. What the hell? You piece of crap. We can see which injector is leaking. There we go. That is extremely more hard. Yeah, more difficult. Alright. Crap. He's gonna kill me. Alright. Got it off. Now you can see why it's so important to put a trash bag in the way. All you gotta do is pull a trash bag tight back around and you'll be easy as heck. Now that that's done, now we move to the next half, which is this whole intake system here. Loosen this bolt, these 4 here. This is the grid heater, APPS or throttle position sensor, whatever you want to call it. But more importantly, loosen this bolt as well. You'll see why in a minute. If you loosen this bolt and these, you can rotate this whole thing up and out. Now you don't have to worry about it. Loosen these 3 bolts here, take this throttle position sensor and move it out of the way. Same thing with the grid heaters. Put them up over here, out of the way. Now you have a clean area to work with, which you're going to need to do anyways to remove line number 2 and the bolt that holds line number 1 in place here. Alright, as you can see, I removed the intake. Throttle position sensor's been put off to the side here. The grid heater's off to the side. Make sure it's not touching anything. I'm just anal that way. So now you'll see here's 1 bolt, and you gotta take these 2 off here on the main, and then there's those 2 back there, and then that's it. Now I would like to show you guys a little trick here to help you guys, because these lines are broken into 2 groups. There's 1, 2, and 4. That's the first group here. When you take these off, follow the lines, and what you're going to find out is that it's this one down here, this one, and this one. When you take them off, take these bolts off first, but then take those off, then loosen these. And what will happen is this whole front piece will come off, and you don't ever have to move these. If you touch these and you have to reset them, it's a pain in the butt. If you take the lines off individually, it'll be a spaghetti nut job to get them back on. That's why it's best to take them off in group A and group B, which is the second set, which run on the back side. Now, can I make another suggestion? Do the first set first, so that makes it easier to get to the back set. up because it's tough to tell on this set here, but it's really tight. Now, they all use the same size crow's foot to open them up, which I believe is 19 off the top of my head. But if not, I'll tell you about it. So, what we're going to do is remove the nuts, the locking nuts on here. Remember to replace them all and torque them down because they also double as your manifold bolts. Just an FYI. Then, you loosen either these first or these first. Now, if you're testing for a leak in the fuel system and you have a cold motor, do these first. If you don't have fuel come bleeding out when you crack them open, then that means that line is dry, which means that's a suspect line. Now, if this is on level ground, obviously there's a lot more involved, like, you know, return lines and the banjo on the back of the head and stuff like that. But in a general note, I found that bad injectors or bad lines usually result in one of these lines going dry first. Then it'll bleed back down the injection pump and dry all the lines out if you wait long enough. But more likely than what happens is you lose the pressure, the truck doesn't want to start, you gotta crank forever until it puts the pressure back in the lines. So that's what we'll do. Alright, what I'm going to do here is attempt to show you what it looks like to have fuel pressure come out. You'll see a little, see it? Alright, here you can see I removed the first line, the second line, and the fourth line. And I also removed this bolt, and this bolt, as they're the ones that are on the lines. Now, here, I'm going to see if we can see this down here. Alright, this is what I meant when I said it's a pain in the butt to reach. Now, the camera's right side up. As you can see, there's the manifold. The floor is down there. That's lines 1, 2, and 3. Alright. The other line's been removed. Now is a good time to go in the back and make sure your banjos are tight. Your T-way fitting in the back, which... oh yeah, just an overview. Keep your tools on one cart and just make sure you have everything nice and organized. Valve cover bolts, intake bolts, APPS throttle position sensor, your intake horn, your hose clamp. Here's the manifold bolts that hold on the lines. Here's your 2 sets of lines. Some more. Here's your crow's feet, large wrench, extension, you know, stuff like that. Here's my gloves I'm wearing, so I got clean hands, so my brother doesn't kill me. Alright, this is what I was looking for. Alright, I'm gonna try and see if I can show you where that banjo is. See it? Right in the middle of the camera. I believe they're all 16 millimeter to tighten. See the one right here? When I did mine, when I had to replace mine right here, that was loose because God knows why. Probably when the previous owner had the injection pump replaced, it's probably was loose from the dealership, but whatever. So now we get to the next part,